to demand a refund from either their banks or the telecommunication company.
Also, this Parliament considers budget statement and estimate of the Akufo-Addo government, where ministries, departments and agencies are expected to be defending their budget estimates.
A little later, crucial sickle cell disease cure in the offing. On our special feature series, we will tell you how Victoria Gray is now free of the chronic disease after a life-changing treatment. Our big stories this hour. I am Keminni Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. News Central starts right now.
Now, the Catholic Bishops' Conference has thrown its weight behind ongoing processes in Parliament to criminalize the activities of LGBTQ plus persons. The latest position of the Church comes in sharp contrast to the views shared by Cardinal Turkson when he advised against criminalizing the act despite not supporting LGBTQ plus. Here are the exact words of Cardinal Pierre Turkson when he appeared on the BBC's Hard Talk 2 weeks ago.
All of these was attempts to link some foreign donations and grants to certain positions which needed to be imposed in the name of freedom, in the name of respect for rights and stuff like that. The Ghanaian culture has known of people with some such tendencies. And I say this because there is an expression in the local Akan language, that of mine, of men who act like women and women who act like men. But nobody went on to make any policy out of that.
Well, these words appear not to have sat well with the Catholic bishops here in Ghana, who are this afternoon making a strong case for the states to prescribe punitive sanctions for acts of homosexuals. They argue that the draft bill on the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values 2021 is in the right direction. They are hopeful the law will impose punitive measures that are commensurate with the crimes committed. I want to head to Parliament now because the House last Friday began considering the anti-LGBTQ bill without the presence of the chair of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Kwame Anyimedu Entry. Let's find out from our correspondent how that is playing out today in Parliament. Kamla Kluche is joining us from there. Kamla, is the bill returning to the House today?
Yes, the consideration stage will continue today. The House just started sitting just about 5 minutes ago. The Speaker just walked in. Understandably so, committees have been meeting, considering the various estimates captured in the 2024 policy statement of the government. And so the committees are now sitting to consider the estimate for the various MMDAs, and they will have to come to the floor to justify it. So most of the committees have been seated. But listed on the order paper, yes, we have the consideration stage. We are aware of some 38 proposed amendments that have to be done to it. And just on Friday, the House was able to do just about 2. It's still a long way going, and so they have to continue today. As to the number they'll be able to do today, we are unaware. But yes, of course, it's listed there. And the Speaker is ensuring that the House would continue it and will consider these amendments.
Indeed.
We get the impression that the majority leader, personally would want to be involved in this. And so at every material time, because of the accusation leveled against the majority side, he would want to be involved directly in this.
Kamla, like you rightly mentioned, the Speaker of Parliament has been particular about this bill. Do you see it being passed before the 9th session rises?
Well, That's what the speaker says. But another thing is that, I mean, they have just about 2 weeks. The House should be rising on the 22nd, just 2 weeks from now. Will they be able to? The amendment are 38. And it depends on whether the House will be able to complete the amendment. When you complete the amendment, then you're done with the second reading, which is the consideration. Then you come to the third reading, which will be the approval of it. But the House is expected to sit even beyond the normal working day. So they are looking at sitting even on Saturdays. So they are able to look at all of these things. And this is not just the only thing that they are looking at. From what is on the other paper, the Interstate Succession Bill 2022 will also be considered. That has not even been started at all. But because of the politics involved in the anti-LGBTQ bill, that could be looked at. And so it depends on the time. It also depends on how they fast with the 38th Amendment. If
Indeed.
that is done, most probably it may happen. But it stands to how the House takes its work seriously on this matter.
Very welcome. Now, we know that Ghana isn't the only country that is attempting to pass this. Uganda earlier this year passed it, and the president, Yoweri Museveni, has called the bluff of foreign nations threatening to impose sanctions on Uganda for passing the anti-LGBTQ law. We'll get more into that. But Komla, how is Parliament processing sanctions that have already been proposed against the country if we do pass it?
They are actually not considering these things at all, because even before they came to the point where they are now, they have told various countries to look at how they work, how theirs is. They've been to Hungary, they've been to the UK, part of the US as well, to look at how they have structured their laws and all that. But the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana is working independent of all of this. They would want to come up with a bill that reflects the values of the country, and they think the values and the traditions of the country. And so
Indeed.
all of these are captured also in the various amendments. And so these inputs that they've had with the memoranda from all the CSOs and all that have all been incorporated into the various amendments.
Kamla, we'll wrap it up on this conversation, but there's more happening in Parliament, Mawuena.
Most definitely, and we're staying in the House a bit longer because we know that ministries, departments and agencies are from today expected to justify budget estimates this week as the various committees sit to consider the government appropriation. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is seeking to have Parliament approve in excess of some 226 billion cedis for government business next year. And Komla is with us. He's just going to stay with us and provide a bit more details for us as to what is expected to happen in Parliament this week as well. So, Komla, the government required all their members on their side to approve the budget last week. Is it looking like that for the appropriations and the justifications of budget estimates?
Like I did say early on, it now boils down to the various committees, and the various MMDAs will have to appear before the committees to justify it. Now, when that is done, then the committee will now draft a report and they bring it to the floor. And the House would do what we call, a justification of it. The MMDAs do not have that entitlement to come to the floor. And so the committee members will have to now do the working on their side. That is where the details, appropriation is where much details are. And so they have to be meticulous about it. Those are where the various taxes or those allocations are. And so strenuously, members on the committees will have to look at it. Where they have disagreement, they will state their point. When it comes to the floor, they will have to argue it out strenuously so that the House would come up with something that is beneficial to them. But mind you, it is not incumbent on them to wholesale approve it. If the arguments are done for or against and they think that they deserve it or they do not, then the House will have to vote against it or otherwise. But it also depends on much work being done at the level of the committee. If it's done, then they have it. But even before that, the government is seeking approval of some 338 million for the reconstruction of a 27.7 kilometers of the Tamamoto Way enclave spanning into the Tesano and Achimota areas. The vice chairman of the committee on finance has been speaking. This is a joint committee agreement that is supposed to be had between both the road and transport and the finance committee. Patrick Yabuama is the vice chairman of the finance committee. He was speaking in parliament a short while ago.
Somebody will say, oh, why is Accra Tamamoto Way going to cost $338 million without having to understand the nature of work or the scope of work? It's Accra Tamamoto Way alone is 19.5 kilometers. But this project is 27.7 kilometers. So one will ask, where are you getting the remainder from? Apenkwa interchange and the construction of the New Plan interchange. You know New Plan, going to Taifa, you know there are 2 slipways. So this is the scope of works that is going to happen. So you can tell from what I've told you this morning that it's going to be a very, very comprehensive program which will span a period of about 3 years or 36 months or more, depending on how the project goes. And it's going to be a joint venture between Maripoma Limited. I think they are working on the Pokwasi to Nsamam stretch. And Ghana Infrastructure Fund, whom they've set up a wholly subsidiary company to help execute this project.
That's Patrick Yabuama. Let's just conclude with Komala Kluche, who's our parliamentary affairs correspondent. Komala, so just tell us briefly how long these estimates and the approvals will take, considering the House has barely 2 weeks to rise.
Well, normally there's no timing for it. It all depends on the seriousness that the committees attached to this and the work. Mind you, is the reason why they are going to be having extended sittings as well. So they may work deep into the night, and also they are adding the weekend to it. Saturday, we haven't heard anything about Sunday as of yet. But if it becomes possible, because this is a budget meeting and they necessarily have to look at this, because the government is racing against time to beat the 31st December deadline, or else there will be a lockdown, or there will be a lockdown where the government will have no money to actually spend. And so they have to approve this before they rise. If they do that, then between now till the 22nd, where they'll be rising, even on that night, that's where even the last agreement of these things are passed. They have some time available, but it doesn't look like time is on their side. So all the committees have activated their workings now. They're doing what they have to do, and then when they are done, they bring it back to the plenary, and the House should approve it.
Right then, Komala Kluche, parliamentary affairs correspondent, with those details there.
Right now, Mawuena, we were telling you earlier how Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has called the bluff of all these international organizations and some countries who are already sanctioning them for the anti-LGBTQ position as a country. Let's take a listen to that now.
The issue of the law we passed of the homosexuals. Some of the foreigners are making a lot of wasting their time. They try to put pressure on us. Well, pressure, if you don't do this, we shall not allow you to go to America. I don't want to go to America. I go to America as a favor to the Americans that I've come to visit you. Because here, what am I lacking here? Here, how can I Okwegomba who go to America to do what? Eh? This is the most comfortable place on earth. So these people, but all that arrogance of the foreign countries is because of not listening to the sermon of the preacher of today.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. Now, back home, the Keminni District Court has granted bail to spokesperson for the new force, Shalima Abiyusi. Abiyusi made an appearance in the group's campaign video. Security officials will later arrest and charge her for obtaining a student permit by false declaration. My colleague Lord Edu Asari joins us live from court with the very latest on this matter. Lord, good afternoon to you. We can see from the visuals that just passed by that you made available to us and that a number of individuals holding placards at the court. Are these members of the New Force movement, and what have they been saying?
Person of the New Force movement, as you know, is standing trial because she has been charged with falsely attaining a Ghanaian student permit. But today she was in court and her lead counsel, the Member of Parliament, Francis Xavier Sosu, he's a Member of Parliament from Medina. He's been saying that although she has been charged, the charges, there's not substantive evidence against her, and essentially wanted the case thrown out. And even before the case could proceed, he was praying that there would be a bail for his client because, one, she's not flight risk and they know her place of abode. But the prosecution have also been saying that yes, although her passport is with the police, she's still flight risk, and we're saying that although the passport is with them, she could still escape the country using other routes or the borders of the country. I've been speaking to some of the protesters or those who came in support of Shalima. You can see a number of them holding placards. I spoke to the spokesperson, the deputy spokesperson of this group. He is his name is Sir Asa Jata, and this is what he has to say.
And she's a mother to me because she helps the needy, the ones who need help. She pays school fees of people and all those stuff. So once she's arrested, I will never go and sit down, put my hands in my lap and be sitting and saying that she should go and face the consequence. So I have to come and back her up. She's a mother to all these people here. She's not a mother to only me. You understand?
I see.
And we are always wishing that she will just get the benefit of the doubt by falling out of this court and coming out for her to be free as how we are free. She's a mother of honesty.
Are you a member of the New Force?
Yeah, I'm a member of the New Force.
I see. Tell me a bit more about the...
Lord, we hear them, but how about the proceedings itself? Plus, what are the terms and conditions of her bail?
Shalima Abiyusi has been granted a 20,000 bail, and she's been able to meet these conditions. Part of the bail conditions include 2 sureties, as well as reporting to the police headquarters twice every week. Now, as we speak, her counsel, lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu, says that she's been able to meet these conditions and she's about to sign for the bail, after which she'll be eventually released. But she's not yet down because she's still in the courtroom signing.
The accused person has been admitted to bail in the sum of 20,000 cedis with 2 sureties. As we speak now, the sureties are willing, ready and available to go and sign the bail. In fact, we have their Ghana cards and documents which they have supplied to the registrar of the court. We are just waiting for their homes to be inspected so that she will be released on bail. It's quite unfortunate that while this process is going on, the NIB is insisting that they want to take her to their custody. That we won't agree, because as a matter of law, when a person is granted bail, the person becomes a prisoner of the court. It means that you brought the person to court and the court is dealing with the person. When the court has looked at the situation, looked at the factual situation and admitted the person to bail, you are expected to respect the order of the court. And that is why we are here. And I am going to be here until the order is executed, because it's quite unfair to this young person, you know, to be holding her for the last 7 days for what? For a felony? I mean, this is really unacceptable, and we are not going to allow it.
That's a story we'll continue to follow here on News Central. When we return, we'll bring you more news. Don't go away.
Favorite Abna Rice is saying thank you to all its loyal customers and consumers for being loyal to the brand. From the 1st of September 2023 to 31st of January 2024, buy any 4.5 kg bag of Abna Rice and you stand the chance of finding a gift voucher inside the bag. Prizes you stand to find include LED TVs, washing machines, microwaves, blenders, smartphones, bags of rice, burners, and many more. Redeem your gift vouchers from any Lele depot or selected wholesalers nationwide. So, what are you waiting for? Go on and grab your 4.5 kg bag of Abna Rice and win big. Remember, the Abna Achedia promo is on from the 1st of September 2023 and ends on 31st of January 2024. It's the Abna Achedia promo. Buy more, win more. Terms and conditions apply. This advert is FDA approved.
Your natural hair deserves the best treatment. And that's exactly what Maxim Twist and Kale Butter gives you. First, wash your hair thoroughly with Maxim shampoo and conditioner. Apply Maxim leave-in conditioner to make your hair soft. Then, apply a generous amount of Maxim Twist and Kale Butter. Then twist. Blow dry your hair for some minutes and add oil moisturizer to give it a great shine. With Maxim Twist and Kale Butter, you can untwist your hair and have it anyhow you want it. Available in cosmetic shops, Maxim Leave-In Conditioner and Maxim Twist and Kale Butter, because you're the max.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Yansempo! Yansempa! Yade bro!
In a world where every moment counts, one team stands ready to deliver the news that shapes our lives. A team driven by truth, integrity, and unwavering dedication. They travel to the front lines in the tireless pursuit of truth to bring you the world stories like never before. Get ready to witness the stories that matter. We have the most trusted voices in journalism who are committed to delivering accurate, balanced, and thought-provoking news. TV3, first in news.
Ghana coming out again, the same squad. For the ball, he's got it! Throw it down, Tim!
Sports Station, Mondays, 9 p.m. on TV3.
Sports Station is brought to you by Betway, Nesta Mouthwash.
Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Come January, the 34th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations will take place in Ivory Coast. 24 of Africa's best countries will converge to compete and battle it out for supremacy. With no debutants, this would be an assembly of richly experienced teams. The quality of display will be like nothing ever seen. Join us on AFCON Quest as we build up to a unique continental showpiece. Get updates on the history of the tournament, preparations of all teams, and the readiness of Ivory Coast to host the rest of Africa. AFCON Quest, your 2023 Cup of Nations hub.
AFCON Quest, coming soon on TV3.
Now, a strong call has been made for government to play a leading role in the protection and promotion of human rights for the vulnerable and the poor. Speaking at an event to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Commissioner of Shraj noted that despite gains made by the country, there remains a dire need for improvement in championing the freedom and rights of the marginalized. My colleague Christian Yale is at the event, joins us right now with a bit more details. Chris, talk to us. What exactly has the Shraj boss been saying specific to what could be done to improve the human rights situation here in the country?
Right, and so Shraj is largely concerned about abuse and attacks against journalists. And also one issue that has come up during this session has been the increased levels of hostility and violence against the poor, the vulnerable, and the marginalized in the society. Now, according to Shraj, a way out of this is to ensure that there is a stiffer sanction regime and also the enforcement of existing laws to ensure that there is an inclusive society where everyone's rights and freedoms are well respected.
Right then, Chris, with those details, he's also been speaking to the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Tuah. We can take a listen to his perspective as well on the country's position on protecting human rights.
Ghana as a state has a duty to support the fight against corruption, and our government is no exception. The legal framework has been set up by the passage of various acts of parliament. The institutional frameworks have also been set up, various institutions. What is left now is for us to come together as a people to bring up the evidence so that one day we can get people who are going wayward.
What prompted a decision to appeal the Aisha one?
Christian Yale then, that interaction with Alfred Tuah as a Deputy Attorney General.
The economy now. Economics Kwame Pianim is advocating for a new government-backed financing regime for the exploitation of minerals in the country. He argues that if government provides sovereign guarantees for trusted Ghanaian professionals to source for capital both here and abroad to develop such ventures, Ghanaians will be the ultimate beneficiaries. This model, he argues, is better than the current model where foreigners exploit Ghana's natural resources to the country's detriment. Duke Mensah joins us via Zoom with more on this. Now, Duke, let's talk about where he's saying this. What exactly is the occasion that has prompted this?
Well, so Kwame Pianim, renowned economist in the country, speaking at the University of Professional Studies in Accra, UPSA, their annual leadership lecture series. Now, he is the speaker for this year, and he's speaking on the theme, reimagining the development trajectory of Ghana in the next 10-3 years. So 100 years, by the time Ghana is 100 years, our development trajectory, so from 57, and I can maximize the next 33 years before we chalk 100 years as centenary to be a developed country. And he's been drawing insights from the developmental journeys of countries like Singapore and Korea, who were on the same level with before development. And he's been talking seriously about exploitation of our natural resources and how we can benefit immensely from this area because we're a country blessed with resources. He argues that government should look at issuing out sovereign guarantees. Now, sovereign guarantees, break it down simply means government, we are backing individuals with an instrument to source for money here or source for money abroad, more or less like a guarantor. Government is guaranteeing financing for local people of 15 years and above experience in, say, for instance, the mining industry. An engineer of 15 years in the mining sector comes together with a commercial person and a managerial person. These three people come together. Government provides them with that sovereign guarantee to source, say, $50 million to invest in mining, own it, so that, I mean, as part of that, they will give 30% of their company to the state and employ Ghanaians and other people and keep them to work, rather than having foreign companies come to mine almost every quarter, ship dollars out of the country, which also creates a crisis for our currency. He's also been speaking about corruption, calling on Parliament to enact stiffer laws. For instance, a law that will exploit what he calls the president's dilemma, where whoever reports, for if there's an alleged bribery interaction between someone, whoever reports that bribery incident first, gets to keep the money that has been involved in the bribery. So if it's the giver, he gets to get a reimbursement of the money. If it's the receiver, he gets to keep the money. Yes, he's also talking about strengthening the local government system and putting back electing MMDCs back on the front burner.
Indeed.
He believes that will be a game changer. Yes, he believes that will be a game changer and will propel
Duke,
our development journey.
Indeed, Duke, we have to go now, but we appreciate your time here on the news. Coming up is Regional Hub.
This afternoon, we're beginning Regional Hub from the Asante region, and not so great news because 5 victims at the French Line Market in Kumasi, they began counting their losses a day after the incident. More than 100 traders have lost their livelihood in the 3-hour inferno. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, he's joining us from the scene, pictures of which you can see on your screens right now. Ibrahim, talk to us about the current situation at the market. We see some of them digging and still trying to, if possible, salvage a few of the items there.
So it's been more than 24 hours since fire swept through several shops here at French Line. Some traders are scavenging to see whether they may be lucky enough to get some of their items, including money. Others are still yet to come to terms with reality. For many here, they are thinking of how to return to business after losing almost everything. The damage is unquantifiable, and most of the traders are seeking a helping hand to bounce back to business.
My phone repeller. At the same time, I'm selling screens and both screen guide. So I've lost everything. Including my money, including my everything. I've lost everything. We are waiting for the authority to come to our aid and help us because we don't know what to do. Because a lot of us here, we are working with a loan. Some have collected money from bank and they are doing their businesses. And today this is a sad news that we are in. So we are appealing for authority to come to our aid and help us to also get back to our work.
Yeah, hairdressing I had to say. Me dry me and son. Me realize me be and dress Sunday. Me pass one. Me friend was sorry that me say. Me hand motion. Me buy. Meant me and room. Almost some mammy room crying. They meant me and be I said. If I should go school, and next day went to my uncle. I mean, buy here and I mean, yes, garden, and the man, yes, Kabia. I'm with you. If I'm answer. Me, the group is Susita, and the man there says, I met your mom, meaning ash. And then I'm better.
The Ghana National Fire Service is still conducting an investigation to unravel the cause of the fire, but preliminary reports point to electrical faults. We will be monitoring development here and update you subsequently. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, French Line, Kumasi.
And the French Line is where we're going, where Ibrahim is still stationed there in what almost looks like a quarterly happening in this part of the world. Ibrahim, they say they are waiting on authorities to come to their aid. Does that look likely at this moment?
Well, Mawuena, the city authorities, I mean the Kumasi mayor says he'll be visiting them this afternoon. But what they are currently doing is to rebuild the place, something that the city authorities are unhappy with because they wanted fire service personnel to conclude with their investigation before they know the next line of action. In fact, some few minutes ago, there was a near brawl here when the contractor for the second phase of the KJTR market came here to tell them not to rebuild. You know, so in the pictures, you can see the second phase of the project just behind where it was built. The first phase was the KJTR, which has been completed. Central Market is the second phase, and when completed, this place is supposed to be pulled down for the third phase. And as we speak, the second phase work has not been going on. So when the contractor came here to tell them to stop rebuilding and
they will come and cordon off the place. They nearly attack him because they are in pain. They've lost everything just for you to come and tell them you will clear this place for the third phase when the second phase is even yet to be completed. So as we speak, they are still waiting for the authorities to come here. Since morning we've been here. We've not seen anyone here. Like I said, the mayor says he will come here, just interact with them, ascertain what happened, and also take stocks of the items that have been lost so that they will see whether they will be able to offer them some level of support. But you can clearly see that the traders are not ready to wait for them. They have begun rebuilding because they want life to return back to normalcy. We are getting closer to Christmas season and they need to be back on track so that they will be able to find something and be running, because they said this happened, like you said, quarterly. It keeps happening. Anytime it happens, authorities will promise them of giving them the needed support, yet they will not see anything. We are talking about the KJTR market that got bent in March. We are in December. Since March to date, the authorities have not fulfilled the promise of giving them the support that they need. And as we speak, some of the affected traders are at home. So they do not see any reason for them to wait on the authorities to come. So those who have the financial muscle have started rebuilding. Others are also still waiting on the authorities to offer them the support that they can.
Is for the report in Ibrahim Abubakar at the French Line area this afternoon.
We'll stay in the Ashanti region because the NDC says it will leverage the 24-hour economic policy promised to garner a targeted 30% in that region. According to the party, it will in the coming days engage business operators and provide them full details on how the policy will work. William Evans Inkum is a correspondent on this story. He's joining us with more on this. William, good afternoon to you. The NDC appears poised for political action. Tell us how the strategy is going to work for them, particularly among business owners in the Ashanti region.
The fact that some of the business owners are not too happy about how the government is handling the economy, especially last year. We counted the number of, agitation from the business front, and Ashanti region is an informal-based economy. But the NDC says that they are going to use the Kumasi Central Market as a model for this particular policy that they are going to champion. Something that has been read vividly by the flag bearer of the party. And of course, they're saying that they're going to provide them incentives, but top of the list certainly will be reducing energy supply to some of the business community, especially the KJTR market, who depend heavily on energy. And this is how Dr. Mawuena, the regional secretary of the NDC, put it.
The market has a potential of operating around the clock, and we will ensure that that is done. We know of the phase 2 that has become stagnant because of the unwillingness of the government to complete that phase 2 project. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be elected, God willing, in 2024. And through the 24-hour economy, within 24 months, listen to the donations, within 24 months of an NDC government under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we're going to complete that phase 2 of the KJTR Central Market project and make sure that we push the business hub in Kumasi.
Evans, we heard that, but is the business community convinced?
Well, so, who doesn't want to hear good news? And let me say this. If you look at how they are reacting to this 24-hour economy, to the NDC is quite positive, because I've had several interactions with some of the business operators in the Ashanti region, and they seem convinced that if the NDC is going to provide them with all these incentives, especially power and also, especially import duties, they're also going to do something about that. Then they're also going to give them an opportunity. Keminni, the last time the NDC had 32% in the Ashanti region was in 92 and 96. And the last time they even grossed 28% was in 2012. They have 26% per the last elections, and they are looking forward to improving that share or percentage as far as their political or electoral fortunes in the region is concerned. William, we'll leave you here for now. Thank you so much for the reporting. William Evans Inkum joined us from the Ashanti region. That'll be all for Regional Hub.
Get ready for a day full of laughter, talent, and pure joy. The National Kids Festival is back for its second edition, and it is bigger and better than ever.
Calling all talented kids. Auditions for 2024 are in full swing. This is your chance to showcase all your amazing talents.
It's not just about individual talents. We also have regular school competitions in music, dance, video games, and so many more. Which school is taking home the crown for this year?
And the rate is just a cool 20 Ghana cedis.
Save the date, Saturday, 23rd December 2023 at the Aviation Social Center. It's going to be a total showdown and a blast.
The National Kids Festival and Awards, where talent meets laughter. Be there!
Kids Festival is sponsored by Tasty Tom, Heritage Christian College.
Prepare to embark on an epic journey. The stage is set, the lights are on, and the stakes have never been higher. Welcome to Mentor Season 12, the ultimate musical reality showdown, where 16 extraordinary talents will face off in a battle of passion, creativity, and showmanship. Enjoy the ride as these musical geniuses take you through 13 weeks of musical showdowns. Catch the Mentor Season 12 show live every Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3. This is TV3 Mentor Season 12. The world awaits you.
Mentor is brought to you by Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil, and Napa Foods Sense Body Spray.
Bell Ice, Vitamilk, Dragnet, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula, and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula. Darling Lemon Drink. Frutelli Calipo.
So secure your spot, grab a ticket. Slots are filling up fast. Come and join me, Helen, and the rest of the 3FM crew for the all-white party.
Yeah. I pull up on the feature, screaming hallelujah.
Don't forget, it's the 28th of December. It's a Thursday. You don't want to miss out on this ultimate party experience. It's a party of all parties this December. Come in your all white and let's party together.
3FM's 28th December all white party. I will be there. See you when I see you.
Into the future with you.
For all your exclusives, 3 Entertainment will be there to capture the fun, the glitz, the glamour, and the most exciting moments on the night.
It's a 3FM all-white party on December 28th at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, starting at 7 p.m. Please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 for your table reservations today.
Monday morning.
This holiday season, the Atlantic Mall near Medina Atomic Roundabout is your one-stop destination for incredible deals. Join us from Tuesday 19th to Friday 22nd of December for the ultimate TV3 pre-Christmas sales fair. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day, experience heavy discounts on a wide range of products that will make your home merry and bright. Whether you're looking for the perfect gifts, festive decorations, or must-have items, we've got it all at prices you won't believe. The TV3 pre-Christmas sales fair is on Tuesday 19th to Friday 22nd of December from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day at the Atlantic Mall near Medina Atomic Roundabout. Bring your family and friends to enjoy the holiday spirit with special appearances from Santa Claus and exciting festive entertainment. Don't miss out on the joy of giving and saving. See you at the Atlantic Mall for the TV3 pre-Christmas sales fair. Come shop, save, and make this holiday season unforgettable. See you there.
So here on News Central, let's talk football. And there was a big game here in Ghana over the weekend, which saw Kumasi Asante Kotoko defeat Accra Hearts of Oak by 3-2 in an exciting super clash in the Ghana Premier League, with the Porcupine Warriors securing their fourth consecutive victory and solidifying their position as title contenders. The win sees Kotoko move within 4 points of league leaders Idiana, who suffered a surprise loss to Nations FC earlier in the day. Hearts of Oak, on the other hand, slipped further down the table, trailing Kotoko by 6 points now and facing increasing pressure on interim coach Rahim Bashiru. Oreko Ampofus joining me in studio. Conversation. I mean, the talking point really has been that offside goal, whether or not there was an offside, and the debate has been on. But I saw it, and I mean, it's clear as day.
I think it was a very huge mistake given the magnitude of the game and the repercussions of the results, especially because there's a 1-goal margin. Now, Heart of Oak fans can make that argument that because it was 3-2, if that second goal was disallowed, technically they could have got something from the game. And they do have a point, because you look at the position of the linesman and it doesn't speak well of the quality of service, because he was even behind the Asante Kotoko defensive line. That's the Heart of Oak line. And so usually you're supposed to be in line with the defense, but there was no moment during that phase of play that he was in line with the defense. He missed the Isaac Opon offside, and then he also missed the Mukwala offside that actually led to the goal. And so very disappointing refereeing, but that has been the theme for this game in the past few years.
Right, Oreko, I'll just ask you to hold on for us, because we know there's a CAF Awards later this evening where Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen is regarded as the front-runner to be named African Footballer of the Year later this evening. But the Napoli man is facing competition from Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah and Paris Saint-Germain defender Achraf Hakimi. Egypt captain Salah won the Confederation of African Football Award in 2017 and 2018 and was runner-up to Sadio Mane in 2019 and 2022. While right back Hakimi played a crucial role in Morocco's historic run to the semi-finals at the World Cup. Yet Osimhen has been widely tipped because he led Napoli to the first ever Serie A in about 30 years. Let's get on to Zoom now, and joining us is Nigerian journalist Omar Akatugba. Oreko, you want to have a conversation with him as to exactly what it is that it's looking like this evening?
Yeah, let me just welcome you, Omar, and you're looking really sharp, very Moroccan-like. It looks like, you are doing well for the awards. But let's start with your opinion. How has the organization been? I'm sure you've picked up your accreditation, you've seen the event hall and all that.
I must say I've been very impressed. I mean, being a journalist that is very conversant with international events, covering the Champions League, covering major international events, I think that they've stepped up in terms of general organization. I'm quite impressed. I picked up my accreditation yesterday seamlessly. No hiccups. The whole setup looks good. The event is completely wrapped up in the CAF brand identity. The venue very close to the hotel where all of the CAF delegates and the players are staying. There's been very, very beautiful organization. And I also think that it's also goes with the country where the event is being hosted. You've been here before, so you understand the prowess of Morocco in terms of organizing events. So it's been quite good.
But let's talk about the main events now. Men's Player of the Year, Victor Osimhen, your countryman. He's tipped to win the award. Do you see him really realizing this dream, especially because of Hakimi and what he achieved at the World Cup?
I think he's very close to it. Of course, there's a school of thought that Hakimi is the most deserving because of his World Cup achievement.
Yeah.
I put it quote and unquote because, I mean, they didn't win any trophy, but being the first African country to reach the semi-final is something commendable. But the thing is, as a team, fantastic, but as an individual, Hakimi wasn't the pivot for Morocco. While for Victor, individually, he was the best player in his team, won the won the Scudetto, won the Capo Cannoniere Award in Italy, became number 8 in the world, won recently an award as the best player in the Serie A. So all pointers, all fingers points to Victor Osimhen. And feelers around here, from even journalists, is that Victor Osimhen is likely to win. We never know.
All right, thank you very much, Omar, for joining us from the city of Marrakesh. That would be the home of CAF's Africa's Most Elegant Awards happening tonight.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
It's my colleague Oriku Ampofo with a bit more details on the CAF Awards. I tip Osimhen as well to win, but let's talk health now, because after years of enduring excruciating pain as a result of sickle cell disease, Victoria Gray in 2019 decided to take part in a historic clinical trial to edit her genes using CRISPR. Pronounced 4 years on, Victoria Gray does not have symptoms of sickle cell any longer. Portia Gabo, in an exclusive interview with Victoria Gray and her doctor, explained what CRISPR is and why a cure for sickle cell disease is almost here.
It is a genetic disease that causes unimaginable pain.
When someone has sickle cell disease and is in pain crisis, it's like a regular person having your bone twisted. It's very painful.
Unimaginable pain episodes that 38-year-old mother of 4 from Mississippi, United States of America, Victoria Gray, could relate to.
At the age of 3 months, that's when I was diagnosed with sickle cell disease. That's when I had my first crisis. I had a lot of hospital stays, a lot of pain. Yes, the pain episodes, they would come on random. I mean, I could wake up and feel good, and then in a matter of minutes, I have pain that would possibly start in my leg or either my arm, and then it would travel across my chest into my other arm. It felt like I was being struck by lightning because it moved so fast, like electricity, and it would just bounce all around my body. It made me sad because I could hear my grandmother's prayers out loud, just begging God, you know, to give me some relief, to take away my pain.
In 2019, Victoria voluntarily took part in a clinical trial to see if cells removed from her bone marrow could be edited using the novel CRISPR-Cas9 treatment.
At that time, in that hospital stay in Nashville, Dr. Frangoul, he sat beside my bed and he asked me, have I ever heard of CRISPR? And I told him no, I hadn't ever heard of it. And he sat down and he explained to my husband and I what it meant, how it would work in theory, you know, because it hadn't been tried. So, and he explained that I would be the first person to do it if I decided to say yes. He answered my questions, but I did have to come back to my faith and pray.
Dr. Haida Frangul, Medical Director of Pediatric Hematology and Oncology at the Sarah Cannon Research Institute and HCA Healthcare's The Children's Hospital at TriStar Sentinel, is the doctor that treated Victoria Gray.
The CRISPR gene editing is a technology where you can edit a specific area in the genome. So there are hundreds of thousands of genes in the body, correct? In each cell. And we are able to use CRISPR-Cas9 as a genetic tool to edit a specific area in the genome. And in the case of sickle cell disease, what we are doing is we are editing an area in the genome that will allow the stem cells to make high levels of fetal hemoglobin, a type of hemoglobin that will help the cells, the red blood cells, not sickle and be mal-shaped, and thus prevent the complications of sickle cell disease in patients.
4 years after undergoing treatment for sickle cell disease using CRISPR-Cas9, Victoria says all her symptoms of sickle cell disease are gone.
My life has really been transformed. I haven't had any emergency room visits, any blood transfusions. I now work a full-time job. I now take care of myself. I don't have anyone that I have to pay to come over to help me get dressed or clean up my house anymore. I get to live life as a normal person now.
I asked Dr. Frangul if this means the world now has a cure for sickle cell disease.
Well, this therapy eliminates all the complications that are related to sickle cell disease, including pain crisis, acute chest, admissions to the hospital. Our data show that more than 90% of the patients after this therapy had significant benefit from this therapy, meaning they remain sickle cell free.
The United States Food and Drugs Authority has now approved 2 gene therapies for sickle cell disease. However, questions on health equity and pricing for the treatment arise, especially on how persons with sickle cell disease in countries in sub-Saharan Africa, including Ghana, can also access treatments.
I am really hopeful that this therapy will be available to patients worldwide, and specifically in areas like Ghana where sickle cell disease is a huge problem. I am very hopeful that this therapy not only started the journey of CRISPR-Cas9, but also will allow other people to do other therapies using this technology to cure sickle cell disease.
Victoria Gray's courageous decision to partake in the pioneering gene editing clinical trial is historic.
I can dream again because I had stopped dreaming and hoping for anything, you know. So now I have big dreams and big plans. After the treatment, I wanted to be a sickle cell advocate. So that's what I've been doing since I've been treated, because I didn't want to open the door and not help others to come through the other side, because it's a great feeling and I want other people to experience that also.
Dr. Frangul had a message for persons living with sickle cell disease in Africa.
Well, I think you really need to tell your patients with sickle cell disease that there is hope on the way. That's very important.
The world is now a step closer to a cure for incurable genetic diseases. Portia Gabotti with 3 News, Accra.
Great news for people living with sickle cell disease. But what is gene editing, and what does this mean for the hundreds of thousands of people living with sickle cell disease? Here's an explainer.
Gene editing is the process of rewriting, removing or adding to a gene for research or therapeutic purposes. Now, genes carry the information that determines one's traits. For each person, genes are inherited from their parents, half from their mother and half from their father. Now, the genes carry information on a set of codes in DNA. That is why paternity and maternity can be determined from examining one's DNA composition. The genes can become faulty because the sequences of the DNA could be wrong. The genes are decoded to make substances in the body make it function. Therefore, defective genes could give rise to faulty body substances that could lead to diseases. For example, there is a substance that carries nutrients and oxygen to different parts of the body called hemoglobin. People with sickle cell diseases have a defective hemoglobin because there is a fault in the gene that produces it. This defective hemoglobin is unable to carry nutrients and oxygen properly and also gets deformed and blocks blood vessels in certain conditions compared with the normal hemoglobin. What if there's a way to transform an abnormal gene into a normal one? Step in gene editing, a new tool in biology and medicine where the genes can be rewritten, removed or added to make it normal, or remove it totally if it is causing a problem. There are several examples of gene editing tools, but by far the most popular is known as CRISPR. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine the defective hemoglobin gene mentioned earlier as a torn portion in a dress. The owner takes it to the wayside tailor or seamstress, or yadoye in local fancy parlance, to make it flawless once again. The CRISPR functions by having a molecular scissors, that's a tailor's pair of scissors. The CRISPR scissors makes an incision in the gene after it has been directed there by a guide. It makes the tool specific, just like a tailor is guided to a torn portion of the dress. The scissors, after making the incision and cutting away the defective gene, leaves a hole within the gene, just like the tailor trims the edges of the torn portion of the dress, leaving well-trimmed edges. The CRISPR apparatus, when introduced into the body, comes along with a replacement gene, which is flawless. The body then repairs the gaping hole in the gene with a replacement of a flawless one, a normal gene, like the tailor will patch the hole in the dress with a piece of material similar to the dress. In the case of sickle cell disease, there are three main ways in which the disease can be inherited: AA for normal, SS for abnormal, and AS for people in between. That's one normal, one abnormal. The hemoglobin is found in red blood cells. You can check your laboratory results when you go for full blood count or FBC. The red blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. They are reddish and soft core inside of the bones. They are ancestral cells in the bone marrow which mature to become red blood cells. Therefore, if the ancestral cells can be removed from the bone marrow, removing the SS gene and replacing it with the AA gene and then returning it to the bone marrow, they will start producing normal AA red cells, and in so doing make the person with sickle cell disease better, as red blood cells will become normal. Downside to this innovative medical breakthrough is that the initial research into CRISPR, the Caesar sometimes cuts elsewhere in the gene of the individual and could lead to the development of other diseases like cancer. However, so much research has gone into this, leading to less unintended side effects. Also, scientists can decide to make designer babies who are more intelligent, athletically adept, physically stronger. This is because most genes that control these traits are known now, because scientists have been able to sequence all the genes in the human body now. Therefore, rogue scientists can alter the genes of babies, especially IVF babies, to incorporate some of these traits of the babies, thus producing designer children.
Designer children indeed. We have to run. I'm Keminni Amanor.
I'm Mawuena Egbeta. See you again tomorrow.